Hello everyone and welcome to this brief presentation on SRM navigation for the Reporting Academy to take place in Valencia now in June. We're going to cover the basics of reporting in SRM, sticking mainly to the shopping cart reports, the shopping cart details reports in SRM. We're going to be following this demo, this PDF that you see on screen now. And one by one we will be following these points in SRM. So we can basically understand where the reports are in SRM, what reports SRM offers, also the type of quick criteria maintenance or queries that SRM offers, also how to apply filters for shopping carts, how to sort, how to use the user settings to edit the layout display in number of columns, for example, or change the display of the layout of the report itself. Also how to select the line for a shopping cart, how to find out what the product IDs are in shopping carts, the creation date, and so on. And even access an actual shopping cart and see its contents. And finally, learn how to export it to Excel. Now this video shouldn't take more than maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes the most. So the first thing we do is we will go into SRM, and this is the portal. The first thing we do is click on Reports. And we can view here that there's a number of reports that SRM offers that will be loading in a second. Right here, the BW Independent Reports. So SRM offers us reports on shopping carts, one called Shopping Cart Details, Shopping Cart Status, purchase order status, purchase order details, contracts for supplier, contracts for product, and RFX details. These are the main reports offered by SRM. We're going to be focusing on shopping cart details for this session. So we click on shopping cart details and we will begin to follow the points here in our SRM reporting navigation WebEx demo. So the first thing we have done is access BW independent reports, and we selected shopping cart details. So here is the result of our clicking on shopping cart details report. First thing it tells us is the amount of shopping carts that have loaded already, if any are there. So every time you use a username, a particular username or number in the training environment, in this case T2J, as we can see here at the top, we see that anyone who has added dates or maybe account assignment types or any search performed prior to the one you're performing now will always remain in SRM. So this search was probably performed by a user before me, and the result of this search resulted in 181 shopping carts. So one of the first things you have to learn to do is always to clear the queries that have already that are already pre-populated. So the first thing we do is press on the button here, clear. Click on that and that will, see, erase all the details in the query. So it doesn't alter what we're looking for, the results of the reports that we're looking for, or the shopping carts that we're looking for. We also realize that the shopping cart number has not changed. It only changes once we have added information in these prompts here, or in the query section of SRM, and clicked on apply. Then once the results change here at the bottom, then we will see that also the shopping cart number at the top will change as well. So let's first analyze the quick criteria maintenance in SRM, which would be, for example, in ECC would be also your query or the prompt fields that we have to fill in to perform our search when we add a T-code, or in BI it would be the initial prompt as well. So in SRM it's called the quick criteria maintenance. Some of you may encounter this, for example, closed as it is here. So make sure the arrow is not pointing to the right but always pointing down. So there you can see your fields and start populating them. The first field is the shopping cart number, where you can add directly a shopping cart number, for example, and simply click on apply and you will find only your shopping cart number here at the bottom. Another option as well is to select the advanced options, where you can see the yellow arrow here pointing to the right. You can click on that And what this will allow you to do in these types of fields is add a range, right? A multiple selection of shopping carts. Let's say you don't only want to pull one shopping cart, but you want to pull various. So you would simply add your shopping cart numbers here, right? In different lines. For example, you could add each shopping cart number here and then simply click on OK, so that you would have a search of more than one single shopping cart. Okay, you can select the line and then delete it, or you can add lines or simply clear all the information in your fields with the bin here, delete entry selection. Okay, so this is a basic functionality. If you want to add a single shopping cart number and you know it by heart, you add it right here. If you would like to add various, you simply click on the advanced options or the multiple selection arrow and you add your shopping carts here and actually search for several shopping carts. Then you also realize that there is an attribute shopping cart number operator here. And what this does, if you click on it, it will prompt this window here, which will tell the system that what you want to look for has to be equal to, for example, a shopping cart number, greater in value, unequal to. Okay, these are the ones that are usually in green, mean they're equal to or positive to, unless, for example, you see here unequal to. But then if you want to search for the opposite, then you do exclude from selection, see, and now they're turned into red, which means that in this case it'll search for the opposite thing to what you're selecting. So mainly, to keep it simple, in this first screen here, you can simply click on equal or single value, and you can simply search for one single shopping cart. And the number that you write here has to be equal, okay, has to be exact to what you've written here. You can always change this and say, okay, well, I want all the shopping carts except for this one here. So you just simply click on the unequal attribute sign. So you can play around with these options, but at least you understand what they stand for, the advanced options and also the attributes button to the left of the fields. Okay, in this case, we can always clear and remove any of the changes that we have made. You can also search by name of shopping cart, item description, meaning what is inside the shopping cart. For example, it could be a computer desktop, it could be a mouse, or so on. You can search also for status. In this case, if we click on the drop down, you can see that we're searching for a shopping cart status, a particular shopping cart status, whether saved, awaiting approval, release, rejected, or approved. If we leave it blank, then it'll search for all types of statuses on shopping carts. Time frame. This means that when was this shopping cart created? Today, in the last 7 days, last 30 days, 90 days, or 12 months. Or again, leave it blank so you don't limit your search by time frame. We have creation date, and we see here a range from 2, and we'll get to that in a second. Also the requester, the product category, account assignment type, account assignment element, and now we'll look at the several options here on the side. So here, to understand how the fields work here in creation date, we have a calendar option that we can select our calendar. Here, simply the day, viewing an actual calendar, learn how to navigate this calendar. Single arrow will simply switch the month, double arrow will switch the year. So you can play around with this calendar dates as well, or simply write in the calendar date manually. You can get rid of this one here and simply write, for example, if we know the date exactly, we can simply type it in or click on the box here where we have the calendar and search for the date exactly here. Next step is the matchbox. This matchbox next to some of the fields, like for example, requester or product category. To see how this works, just simply click on the matchbox and we see that another window prompts. Now this window works exactly like the one that we were working on before. So you can simply perform a search here and even go further, looking also into a separate matchbox for hierarchy ID. You can also select the advanced options with the arrow or even change the attributes in the fields. It's very important that you understand that whatever information you add here, you have to first click on Start Search. You do not click on OK. If you click on OK, it automatically takes you back to the previous screen. So we can go back to this matchbox and understand that you have to first populate these fields and then click on Start Search, which will provide results for the search you have made here in this particular window. And then once you have found your result, you can click on OK. So simply we would have to click on or search for a category description. In this case, we can search for maybe computers and see if in our search we have some sort of results for computers, and we see that we do. We can maximize the screen a bit more here and see that the word computers, and again always accompanied by the asterisks, as you see here I've written an asterisk at the beginning and an asterisk at the end, and clicked on Start Search. What this will do is it'll search for anything similar to this word computers. Let's see what happens if I try to write it without the asterisks and I hit on Start Search. Okay, now the search is reduced because now it's only going to be looking for the exact wording I have written here. If I click here and I take the S out and click on Start Search, I may get no results at all because now we're looking for the exact wording of computer and not computers. But if I add the asterisks at the beginning and at the end, and I click on Start Search, maybe the result changes. You see here, anything that is similar to the wording between the two asterisks will actually result in my layout here. Computer equipment, computers, computer servers, notebooks, anything with the word computer or computers, or comp, for example. But this search now, to select the result, we have to first click on the one we're looking for. For example, here, this is what I'm looking for, computer equipment, and then click on OK. And this selection will finally appear in our query here at the beginning for our shopping cart. So that's the way a matchbox will work. It allows you to perform a deeper or more advanced search. You may not know the actual product category directly here, but if you click on the matchbox, you see that there are different options to search for your actual product category. It could be a description in this case here. It's also important that you see these links here at the top. Actually, the one here called Personal Value List. If you click on this link, it'll usually take you to another prompt that will allow you to have several other options in terms of search. In this case, it does not. So let's just cancel this search. But I do know that under the Requester Matchbox, you have more options to search by. And here, let's extend this page and see what I'm talking about. If you click on the Personal Value List on this personal search here, you see that we have more search helps. This drop down will allow you to search for other ways of identifying a requester in this case. You have by address, by bank details, identification number, general, according to user, and so on. Now, if we click on cancel, and we do this again, click on the matchbox. If we do not click here on Personal Value List, in this window you can also realize that we have that same drop down right here at the bottom, More Search Helps, the one we didn't have in the previous screen. And if you click on the drop down here, we also have the same amount of options. So some of these prompts will allow you to search by different, let's say, ways. For example, here we are under business partner number, all values. Maybe I can switch to according to user. So you see how the prompts change at the top. And if I do this again, by relationship, same thing. So these search fields change depending on what I'm selecting here at the drop down. So it's quite important to understand the different options that SRM provides in terms of searching for something that you may not know exactly, as could be the requester. So always search for different options in terms of search options and see how this works. The fields will allow you to be populated by city, postal code, street, and then click on Start Search to find your result, select it, and click on OK, as we did for the product category. If you remember, when we clicked on the matchbox for product category, there were no further options. These are the only fields available for this matchbox. So fine, that will help us understand how to use these fields, the advanced options, the attributes, the drop downs, the calendar, and also very importantly the matchbox. And this all belongs to the quick criteria maintenance. Let's go back to our demo exercise and see how much we've covered so far. So we use the matchbox for product category. We haven't inserted any data yet. We will do this right now, but we have learned how all the queries work at the beginning and all the search fields work in SRM. So now we're going to start inserting information. In this case, what we're going to do is, in the quick criteria maintenance, the creation date, the range from June 6, 2016 to June 12, 2016. We're also going to insert the account assignment type CC, and then we're going to check the shopping cart total, which should change. So first thing, June 6 to June 12, 2016. We go to our dates. Okay, so we would search here, 2016. So we would click on the double arrows and click on June 6. And here we could simply type 12 June 2016. And that would give us our date range according to our exercise. So we have our date range, and now the insert account assignment type CC. So account assignment type, we can directly write CC, or we can use our matchbox and see what this matchbox offers us in terms of search fields. So here, if you see the show criteria, if the arrow is pointing to the right, it's closed. If it's pointing down, it's open. In this case, there's really no other fields for us to perform a search because it's quite limited. We only have these results here. The exercise says to select CC. So we select the line, and again, we click on OK. And we see here our field is populated. And then check shopping cart total. So once we have populated our fields and we click on Apply, we can see towards the bottom that here at the bottom right of the screen is where you'll see if the actual refresh is happening. If not, you can just click on the button here, Refresh, and see refresh is running. And you can see that the results here, 99% of the refresh is running. Once it's complete, it'll tell you the actual result of your layout and the shopping cart details. You see here at the top, shopping cart details, refresh is running. So right now we still don't know the amount of shopping carts that will result from our search, which is based on these dates and this account assignment. Now it seems that it has happened. We see the last refresh occurred today at this time that we're recording this tutorial, and we see that the shopping carts now is 181. Now we know 100% sure that there are 181 shopping carts based on our search criteria here. Let's take a look at our layout, as now we are going to understand how to edit the bottom layout here. We first learned how to edit our fields in the quick criteria maintenance, and now we're going to learn how to edit the layout of our report. Of course, we could always export this result into Excel and just simply edit in Excel. But what we want to learn today is how to edit directly from our SRM BW Independent Reports screen. So we've selected shopping cart details report, and now we see that we have a number of columns and a number of results. The first thing we'll do, as the exercise indicates, is that we're going to apply a filter. So as you see, the filter button is right here. So when you click on it, a brand new line will load here at the bottom with the filter sign at the left, allowing you to input information in any of these fields to search for what we're looking for. In this case, we're going to search for UNHQ. And if you see here, we also have the asterisk or the wildcards at the beginning and at the end. So we can simply copy and paste this. And what we're doing is we're searching for this where in the exercise it says shopping cart name. All right, so we will go to shopping cart name, which is right here. You can always expand your columns to read perfectly what's there. And you add here UNHQ. You click on enter, and we realize that with UNHQ there's absolutely nothing. And this is with the asterisks, so there's nothing even close to this. Same thing will happen if I just simply do UNHQ without the asterisks. So there's nothing with this information. Now, if I delete it, the filter does not simply disappear. There's nothing here. To delete the filter, you have to actually click on delete filter. and then your report comes back to where it was. So eventually, any filters you want to add will work like that. We first click on the filter option, and then we add our filter options here. SRM allows you to filter several times. So for example, we can simply write here in the shopping cart name, we can write our asterisk, and based on the information I see here, I'm going to write the word Kadir and click on enter. And you see anything with the word Kadir will load here. If we scroll up, we still see that our shopping cart is 181, but of course now we have less shopping carts on our screen. We can simply count them by viewing on the side here that the report is now quite reduced. So we have Kadir in one of the filters, and now here we can simply filter again by either approved or saved. So in this case, I can simply write saved, click on enter, and only have the saved status for shopping carts. So we have now a lot less options here. And continue. So SRM allows you to filter more than once. By shopping cart name, by status. We could also do so by line number and also by quantity. So this is the basics for our filter. Now we say here filter by status, check shopping cart totals now. So we have done that. And the latest thing for this step is to sort ascending or descending order under the column dates. So we go back and we see our column status, shopping carts. Here we have account assignment, creation date. So for example, in this creation date, we can simply click, you see, where the hand shows up with the arrows up and down. If you click once, this will already create a sort in ascending order. If you click again, the arrow will change, and now it will be sort in descending order. You can see that in this case, they're all exactly the same, the dates and the times, so there's really not much of a change in my sorting. It's exactly the same in this case, but this is how you sort. You simply click on a column, and that will sort in ascending or descending if you click once or if you click twice. Let's see now how we can edit our layout by using the right click over any column and selecting user settings. So if I go back to my report and I click on settings, for example, so you have an idea, in production this will allow you to do a lot more changes. You'll have a lot more tabs at the top here, but in training environment, the one I'm using right now, will only allow you to edit the display, which means that the way we see the results of our search. So in this case, if you see this, the displayed rows will be the rows limited to 20. So you will always have 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 20. And then the number of columns will now be displayed 14. So if we counted the columns, it would be 14 columns displayed. If this is changed to, for example, 5 columns, and we click on apply, that'll change the amount of columns that we have at the bottom to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So of course, only what is interesting to you. In my opinion, the more information we have on the layout, the better, so we can cross-reference data. So you see here, I can switch to now maybe 16, and click on apply, and we will have a much larger result here at the bottom in terms of columns. I believe all the columns and all the information is seen here in one shot. You can also change the graphic type with the drop down. I don't recommend using this as it doesn't work that well, and we will not see it in this session. We will simply stick to how the display is edited. But instead of selecting settings here in the link, what we're going to do is go over a column, right click on our mouse, and in this right click we're going to click on user settings. By clicking on user settings, this new window prompts that also offers us the display tab and the column selection tab. So now there's 2 more options in terms of editing our layout. So what this means is that we can now edit our columns displayed, the number of rows displayed, but also the columns that I want to see and not see. For example, displayed columns on our right and hidden columns to our left. So let's go back to the exercise to see what we have to do here. In this case, it says under display, change the displayed columns field to 10. You can add the number you want in this case. And under column selection, remove the info record number column and apply the change. So let's change the display column field to 10 first. In display, the displayed column field, we change it to 10. We click on Save and Close just to see how that changes first. And now we only have 10 columns. And we can go back to user settings and make the last change, which is the column selection. We were hiding the column info record number. So in this case, the info record number is already hidden, so we don't even have to worry about it. But so you understand how it works, if we select it and move it here, now at the bottom we should have the info record number. You can edit your display. For example, if I select this line and click on the arrow here, move selected columns up, see? It'll now be displayed earlier in my layout. If I click on the arrow with the equal sign, it'll move it all the way to the beginning. And now instead of having the save status, I will see the info record number. And so you see how that changes. I click on it, and now our first column is info record number. So let's click on user settings once again, select it, and now we remove it here. So we don't want to see it. Now we only want these displayed columns. Maybe I only need one currency column, so I can remove the other one. And you click on save, and of course your layout changes once again, and your filters remain. So this is how I want my report to look. So now we've learned how to use these search fields and the options that the quick criteria maintenance in SRM offers, as well as the matchboxes and so on, and then how to edit our layout, mainly in the training environment. In production, you have other options that are not available here, and we will not be learning here. Let's go back to our exercise and see now that we are going to select the line for the very first shopping cart, understand what the product ID is displayed, what is the creation date, and select the shopping cart and access the shopping cart. So we're almost done with our exercise. So let's select the line for the very first shopping cart and see the information, product ID and creation date. So the very first shopping cart is here. And we're going to see the product ID, which should be at the top here where we see product. The product ID for this one is right here. And we were also looking at the creation date, which is right here as well. So this is mainly to understand that in your basic layout you have enough information. For example, here we have the status of the shopping cart, the number, the account assignment used for the shopping cart, the product category, creation date, shopping cart name, shopping cart text, the line number of this product. See, they're all different, but you see they all belong to the same shopping cart. Okay, and again it says select the shopping cart. So let's select this shopping cart. In this case they're all the same, so if we select the first or the last, it'll take us to the same shopping cart. To select it, simply click on the shopping cart once you have selected the line. And let's see that once we've accessed the shopping cart, what type of information we can see in this shopping cart. And we'll go back to our exercise and see that we are now at the bottom portion of our exercise. Now the exercise that you have to complete is not identical to this one, but the steps are. So all you will have to do is provide me with the information related to the shopping cart you are looking for. So here we go. The first thing is, how many line numbers does the shopping cart have, and what are the product IDs? We could have gotten that from the layout before, but now we are in the shopping cart, and that's not my correct screen. Hold on. And here's our shopping cart. So we see that this is the shopping cart number. We understand now the item overview, the line numbers, and the product IDs for all the product IDs services in this case. See, consultant services, individual contractor services, and all the details of the shopping cart that we may not be able to see initially in the layout. Even if we scroll to our right, we can see our total value of the shopping cart If we look into the shopping cart, we can see the net price, the description, and all the information we need also that is very important at the top. Who created the shopping cart, when it was created, what its status, the document name, and its number. So based on that, we would already be answering the first part of our question. How many line numbers does the shopping cart have? What are the product IDs? What is the total value of the shopping cart? Who created it? And now here, the last part of our exercise says, select details for item 1. What is the purchasing group? Under account assignment, select details and provide commitment item number and business area. So let's see that. Details for item 1. So if we select our first item, as it is here, always it's selected when it's highlighted in orange. So we select this line, click on details, and once it loads, we'll see that there's a brand new section at the bottom of the product IDs that are in our shopping cart. Now we see at the bottom, there's an entire new section that provides us with the details for item 1, right? As it does for the details in item 2 if I select the line, in item 3, and so on. We can always move around the details just by clicking on the arrow here as well. Now we're back on item 1, item data. And in this first screen is where we can find the information to the first question, which is the one for, I believe, product category, service ID, and purchasing group here. Would be right here in the item data tab for the first line. If we would like to know it for the second one, we just click on the arrow and see that for item 2, purchasing group is the same, and so on. So that would answer our first question. We also have information here, as could be the location plant and storage location. If we select account assignment, always pay attention that you are still in your details for line item 1 and not suddenly jump to 2. You have a first initial line that defines all the information you need to answer your question on account assignment, which is the business area, general ledger account, assignment number, which is the cost center number, or you can simply select the line if there's more than one, click on details, and that'll expand your view, and now you will be able to see the functional area, general ledger account, business area, fund, commitment item, and so on. Things that maybe you weren't able to see in your first line. So remember, make sure it's highlighted and you click on details for account assignment for details for item 1. If you move around with the arrow, you'll see the account assignment details for item number 2, but in this case they're exactly the same for each and every item in this shopping cart. And I believe that would cover the answer to number 4, and simply leave us with the export to Excel option, which we saw right at the beginning. If we close our shopping cart here and go back to our report layout, we see that the export button is right at the beginning. Once we have a result, we can export to Microsoft Excel if we choose to, and our exercise would be done.